Do you believe that most institutions have the capacity or will to implement independent sexual harassment committees effectively? Because we know that there are some institutions where offenders are probably powerful and well connected. How are we able to, or how will we be able to hold these institutions accountable when sometimes we know that these people, they know they're well connected and they're powerful?
Thank you very much for that question. So there will be pockets of instances like that. There have been pockets of instances like that. In fact, where policies exist, cases are reported, and the institution is still complicit, and neglects the case just because they want to preserve their reputation. However, as a civil society organization, we're in partnership with agencies of government that also serve as checks to these institutions. I think the first starting point, which is a good starting point, is to have this framework in place. It doesn't necessarily mean that we would record progress automatically, but with the relevant political will. Of course, there's a place of political will and there's a place of capacity.
Yes.
There are institutions who have the requisite political will, but they lack the capacity to actually implement their existing laws. And there are institutions with capacity, but they lack the political will. And there are institutions with both. So it's a learning curve for civil society organizations and for accountability agencies like the ICPC to ensure that we find a balance and we put the necessary checks in place. It might also interest you to know that before the emergence of this legal framework, of course, there was a lot of resistance. It's been a decade-long journey. In 2016, in 2015 to 2019, during the 8th Assembly, this bill was introduced but met with stiff resistance. In 2019 to 2023, it was passed by the House of Reps and the Senate, but we couldn't secure presidential assent. And now we are back to that point, and we believe that this will be different this time around, that the president would exercise no executive objection to this bill. So there is some kind of progress. And I think that what is most important is that we are moving in the right direction. And we are hopeful that with every step on the way, it will get us closer to our vision of, having safe campuses where women and girls and even boys do not experience sexual harassment.